Today we are with Oliver Gunning. Oliver was a Commonwealth Games athlete representing Ireland as a visually impaired athlete back in 2022. We just started working together, so today we're going to do a little bit of technique work. This is the first time I've seen him swim, so we'll see what's going well, what's maybe not going so well, and how we can make those tweaks to let us come back into the sport a little bit smoother and better than last time. Commonwealth Games 2022, Birmingham. What was it like?
Yeah, it was I really enjoyed the race. I did crash, but yeah, the actual event and whole atmosphere of it was crazy. The bike course was like 3 people deep the entire way around it. But yeah, amazing experience. Unfortunately, it wasn't the result I wanted. Had a really good swim and then crashed on the bike, but yeah, definitely learned from it anyway. But,
Yeah, I think that's always the interesting thing, especially Commonwealth Games. You know, it's this big, major event in a lot of athletes' careers, and it's hard to get the day that you want sometimes. But what was the build up to that like? Like you'd only started triathlon a few years before that, maybe?
Yeah, so I started properly in end of 2020, coming 2021. So my first ever race internationally was in Valencia in 2021, which was a European Championship then, which I got into because of COVID. Yeah, it was quite fast forward from there. Then in October, so that was September, October, then raced European Cup and then World Series in Abu Dhabi, and then from then I kind of only had really 1 year properly of racing before Commonwealth Games was the year after that. So I've only really been doing triathlon a year properly before going to the Commonwealth Games, which has definitely being thrown in the deep end. I was only 17 still, so it was about a week before my 18th birthday. So yeah.
It's a bit of a whirlwind entrance into the sport, right? Ollie, first time I've seen you swim. Few things going on, right? And I think you named them in the changing room, all the challenges that you've got, okay? So, you're right, you over-rotate, specifically the one side that you're breathing. We're here, which isn't a problem in itself, but what happens after that, when you're here, your arm starts coming down, and then we're here. If you try and push down here, you're very weak. Okay, you're not getting much force at all there. So we need to work out how we get from there and starting the stroke here to there in that nice catch position ready, and then go through the water here. So to start, what we're going to do is what I like to call power diamond drill. So we're just going to lie flat out front, and we're going to start nice and slow, and we're going to gradually accelerate through the water. But the one thing that I want you to think about is hands always in line with your shoulders. Okay, so our hands are going to track our shoulders. We're going to bend our elbow. Halfway through, we're going to make this diamond shape. Okay, and we're going to push out the back. Okay, so just think hands in line with shoulders all the way through. We'll do 250s. We'll do that on the way up, and we'll swim on the way back. Okay? I don't know what I was just thinking about it, but yeah. I'm actually thinking about it whenever I breathe. So now I'm falling underneath, thinking about keeping my high elbow. Yep. Yeah, felt good. So your hands were definitely in line with your shoulders there. Okay. The one thing that you're not doing right now, or the one thing that you are doing that I would like to try and get rid of a little bit, you're very quick to apply the power.
Okay.
So you're from 0 here.
Yeah.
Okay, you're thinking about, right, I'm going to set it up, I'm going to get in line, and then it's like, bang, trying to get as much power and speed as possible.
Yeah.
What happens when we go from 0 to 100 really, really fast?
Yeah.
As our hand goes like that through the water.
Okay.
Do you ever feel that?
A little bit, yeah. Actually, yeah.
One thing I want you to try is a little bit of an example. Put your hand just about a foot in front of you, and I want you to rip it back as fast as possible. Go again. What do you feel? Do you feel a wiggle?
Yeah, like an S.
Okay, so that's us losing hold of the water. We're losing connection with the water. Do the same thing, but do it nice and gradual. See how there was no wiggle?
Straight line, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to try and emulate here with the power diamond. So we're going to start nice and slow, and then we're going to gradually apply pressure. Okay, but we're going to try and maintain connection all the way through. So let's do another 50 like that.
A lot less sort of like not thrashing the water, but
Yeah.
pulling too hard and then actually losing.
It looked a lot better, and you very, very quickly got that diamond shape.
Yeah.
Have you got some fins? Yeah, you do. Let's try and move that on to the next phase. When you stick your fins on, and all I want you to do is one arm extended, okay? And I want you just to kick on your side. So we'll go right side on the way up, and we'll go left side on the way down. And what I want you to think about is how far you're rotating. So I want you to breathe continuously, okay? And I want to see if you can breathe to the side without going here. Okay, so here instead of here. You see the difference?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can try and get into that position and just kick nice and consistently. Okay. Where were you? Where was your body? Every time you went to breathe, what happened?
It's dropped and I turned too much.
Can you look to your left?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you look to your right?
Yeah.
So you've got the flexibility. Okay. We just need to literally turn our head more. Okay.
Yeah, I think I would turn my upper body, I would turn my neck or my chin would be.
So when we swim, we want our head to follow our body
Yeah.
up until there, and then we open up. Okay, so head follows the body until we're here, and then we should be side on enough that we can breathe. You notice how my arm's all the way over here instead of there. We want a little bit of space. We want to lie on the shoulder, but we want a little bit of space. Okay, so we can breathe all the way to the side. Let's keep on trying that. So what was sport like before triathlon? You must have done a little bit before that.
Yeah, so I've always kind of been a sporty kid. I've always kind of been running about in the garden, that kind of thing. But I think I'm visually impaired, so from being visually impaired, it's quite hard to get into sports. Like in school, for example, I couldn't play rugby, I couldn't play any contact sports or ball sports. But then I kind of found some para sports. So I started athletics when I was about 13, 14 in an athletics club. I've been doing park runs and stuff before that, and like some guided running. But the first major thing I did was kind of athletics, and then I did a bit of visually impaired tennis as well, just something a bit different. And then yeah, one of my coaches at athletics happened to be on the para triathlon coaching team, and he pretty much asked me, "Can you swim and can you cycle?" And then for that year, he asked me. Actually, I got my first tandem bike, so I'd learned to cycle a tandem. I could swim. I was a normal sporty kid. I could swim. So from there, it just kind of took, I guess.
Different.
Yeah.
Good. Right. So now we need to try and add in a stroke. So we've worked on getting that feel of the hands in line with the shoulders. We've worked on making sure that we're pulling through nice and gradual. Okay. We've worked on getting that shoulder in the right place so that we're not over rotating too much. Now can we put the three of them together? Okay, this is a hard bit.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the 6-1-6 drill. Okay, so all we're going to do is 6 kicks. Okay, so exactly the same, kicking on the side. And then all we're going to do, 1 stroke, background. Okay, breathe a little bit, kick, 1 stroke. What we want to try and do is open up our shoulder. So we want to open up here. Okay, that'll do 2 things. It'll turn the elbow pointing down. It'll also create a nice stable base on the water. If I'm here, then we can rotate a little bit. If I'm here, that's going to stop me rotating because the arm's there. Okay, so do you think you can maybe try and demonstrate a little bit on the pull end? Like just lie with your arm out in front as normal.
Yeah.
Okay. And then try and turn this part of your elbow facing down. So we're trying to rotate, open up our shoulder. Other way around. There we go. There we go. See how your shoulders opened up a little bit?
Yeah.
That's what we want to try and replicate with this kicking on the side. Okay, we'll give that a shot. 1 more 50.
Yeah.
That looked perfect. It looked absolutely perfect.
It felt mild different.
Good. Good different? Or just different
Yeah.
different? Good.
If I actually pull through the water as opposed to, there's more resistance as opposed to the pumping cadence to get harder or something. Put it faster.
100%. 100%. Let's do a few 50s like that.
Okay.
The next thing that I want you to pay attention to is when you were doing that, you were kicking, you were breathing,
Yeah.
and then what did you do before you pulled?
It's kind of falling in again.
What did you do with your head before you pulled?
My head goes down first, so
There we go. Okay. What do you do normally when you swim?
keep your head still.
What do you do normally when you swim?
Fall my head.
No. You breathe, you're out here, and then we start pulling. Okay, so there you were breathing, your head was in the water, and then you pulled.
Okay.
That means that we're not opening up as much as well. So that's another part to the puzzle, potentially. So let's do that again. Let's think about breathing, head in, pull.
Okay.
Okay, exactly same.
And you think of my back. Well, one thing about back facing the bottom of the water.
I think we'll fix your stroke.
It's definitely going a lot better.
Well, so that, we're not going here anymore at all. Everything's in line.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's now, instead of spending a lot of time on a side kicking,
Yeah.
okay, let's try and speed up the intervals between. So we're going to go, instead of 6 kicks, we're going to go 4 kicks. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, kick, 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 1, 2, kick, kick. So we're going to try and speed up the cycle a little bit. Okay?
Yep.
So what did we do well and what did we not do well then?
Whenever I breathed, I kind of forgot about just turning my head. But I thought more about, I realised I kept falling. Again, my arms weren't far enough. My shoulders weren't open enough. I think I was thinking about the kick too much about when the kick time and missed. So
Okay. Well, let's forget about the 2-beat kick
Yeah.
and we'll just kick. We'll just swim.
Okay.
Just swim. Whatever kick feels comfortable to you.
Yeah.
The one thing that I want you to focus on though is whenever you breathe,
Yeah.
head's back in the water before we fill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So we don't want to get caught out with our arm here, our head here. And we end up taking the stroke out here because that's what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think I turned my head too late to breathe. I think I kind of, how to describe it? I think I started turning my head too late. So this arm's already here when I'm still breathing.
Yes.
Which it shouldn't be. I should be back in the water when this arm comes out of the water. Well, I'll think
Okay.
about that. Yeah.
Let's play around. So just
Yeah.
normal swimming. See if we can get this nailed.
Okay. Whatever you
Good.
and then shot it back into the rhythm.
Good.
Open up my shoulders. That correction put my elbow on the floor.
Yeah. Was that the cue that stuck?
Yeah.
Good. We'll keep on thinking about that. Oh yes. Honestly, solid progress. Compared to the start, I think your stroke is night and day.
Yeah.
Slow back down.
Yeah.
As soon as we speed up, we're reverting back to old habits.
Yeah.
So remember, we never want to pull fast.
Yeah.
We want to be nice and gradual with the stroke.
Okay.
Okay? We don't need to go fast just now. Nail it going slow and then going fast will become easier.
Yeah.